The Tale of INS Dakar. Let's kick things off with the story of the INS Dakar, originally a British T-class submarine from the Second World War. By the 1960s, this vessel had undergone significant modernization and upgrades, transforming it into a top-tier underwater craft. Israel acquired the submarine and extensively overhauled it, assigning a well-trained crew of 69 members. On January 9, 1968, Dakar left Portsmouth, England, setting course for Haifa, Israel. It was expected to be a simple voyage, lasting less than 3 weeks. For the majority of the journey, everything went as expected. Dakar maintained routine communication, updating its location consistently. But on January 24th, as it neared the eastern side of the Mediterranean Sea, something went awry. That evening, the submarine sent a standard status message with nothing seeming out of place. And then, complete radio silence. No alerts, no mayday call. By January 25th, Dakar was officially declared missing. The search that followed was one of Israel's largest naval rescue missions to date, with support from the U.S. Navy and additional allies. Ships, aircraft, and sonar teams combed the sea relentlessly for weeks. Still, it was as though the submarine had simply disappeared without a trace. Then, in 1999, over 3 decades later, the wreck was finally found. It rested nearly 3,000 meters beneath the waves, located between the coasts of Cyprus and Crete. The submarine's structure was split in two, but the reason for the tragedy remained a mystery. Some theories pointed to a sudden technical malfunction, while others speculated about an underwater crash or even deliberate sabotage. But to this day, the true story remains unresolved. The disappearance of the Minerve. Just 2 days after Dakar vanished, another submarine suffered a similar fate. This time, it was France's Minerve. The Minerve was a modern, diesel-electric submarine, agile and dependable. Commissioned in 1964, she was recognized for her reliability. On January 27, 1968, she was participating in a standard training drill not far from Toulon, France. The weather was rough that morning, strong winds and choppy waters, but not particularly out of the ordinary for the region. At 7:55 a.m., Minerve sent a final routine message reporting her coordinates and estimated docking time. Everything appeared routine, but shortly after, radio silence. The submarine never made it to port. There were no warning signals, no cries for help. France's navy sprang into action. An immense search followed, with ships and aircraft deployed to comb the sea. Jacques Cousteau even joined the search, using his team's cutting-edge technology to scan the ocean floor. But not a single trace of Minerve turned up. For more than 5 decades, her fate remained one of the great maritime enigmas of the Mediterranean. Then in 2019, advancements in sonar detection finally led to the discovery of the wreck, about 45 kilometers south of Toulon, resting over 2,300 meters beneath the water's surface. The find offered long-awaited closure to the families, but it also reignited unanswered questions. The wreckage showed signs of a sudden, violent end, possibly from a system failure or severe underwater disturbance caused by the turbulent weather that day. Without a complete exploration of the wreck, the exact cause is still unconfirmed. What made Minerve's story particularly chilling was how close she was to safety. Unlike Dakar, which was lost in open waters, Minerve disappeared mere kilometers from her base, within sight of land. 52 sailors gone in a moment, just 2 days after Dakar. In that single week, the typically calm Mediterranean turned into the site of 2 of the Cold War's most haunting mysteries. 2 submarines, lost in under 7 days. What was once a serene sea had become the resting place of 2 unanswered stories. The Enigma of the K-129, far from the Mediterranean, in the cold, expansive waters of the Pacific Ocean, another submarine was about to meet an unknown fate. This time, it was the Soviet submarine K-129. The K-129 was a Gulf II-class ballistic missile submarine, a powerful weapon of the Cold War era. Equipped with nuclear missiles, it carried 3 ballistic rockets capable of wreaking havoc on any target within its reach. On February 24, 1968, K-129 departed from the Rishi submarine base in the far east of the Soviet Union, heading out for a standard patrol. Like many missions of that period, the operation was shrouded in secrecy. For weeks, K-129 remained undetected, silently cruising beneath the surface, a ghostly presence moving through the vast Pacific Ocean. However, in early March, everything took an unexpected turn. The submarine failed to report back. Initially, Soviet officials suspected a simple communications error, which was not uncommon for submarines operating deep beneath the water. But as days passed, concern turned into alarm. A massive search effort was initiated, with over 40 ships and numerous aircraft covering thousands of miles of open ocean. Despite these efforts, no trace of the K-129 was found. The Soviets were left baffled. A submarine of such size and capacity didn't simply vanish without something catastrophic occurring. Unknown to them, the U.S. Navy had already picked up a clue using their top-secret SOSUS network, an underwater listening system designed to track Soviet submarines. The U.S. had detected an unusual acoustic event northwest of Hawaii, resembling an explosion deep beneath the surface. This anomaly was recorded on March 8, 1968. Armed with this information, the U.S. Navy pinpointed the location of K-129's wreckage at nearly 5,000 meters beneath the Pacific surface. The submarine's hull was destroyed, torn apart by the immense pressure of the ocean. For the Americans, this was a significant discovery. For the Soviets, it was yet another dead end. But the story did not stop there. 6 years after the K-129's mysterious sinking in 1974, the CIA launched a covert operation of unprecedented scale, codenamed Project Azorian. The goal was to recover the wreckage of the K-129 from the ocean floor, nearly 3,000 meters below the surface of the Pacific. This was an operation that had never been attempted before. The mission was not just any ordinary recovery operation. It was one of the most daring and expensive deep-sea salvage operations ever undertaken. The CIA reportedly spent over $800 million, equivalent to billions today, to design and build the Glomar Explorer, a colossal ship specifically crafted for the task. Officially, the vessel was said to be involved in a deep-sea mining operation, a cover story so intricate that it fooled nearly everyone, including international observers. Why go to such lengths? Because the K-129 was no ordinary wreck. It carried nuclear warheads, encrypted communication gear, and potentially vital intelligence on Soviet military technology. The U.S. hoped that even recovering fragments of the submarine could reveal critical insights into Soviet nuclear capabilities and strategic plans, knowledge that could shift the balance of power during the Cold War. The secrecy surrounding Project Azorian was so intense that it remained classified for decades. Even now, much of what the CIA uncovered during the mission remains a mystery, sparking speculation about the true nature of the findings on the ocean floor. The operation was only partially successful. Using a massive claw-like device known as the capture vehicle, the Glomar Explorer succeeded in raising a portion of the K-129's wreckage. This feat of engineering was unprecedented. Among the recovered pieces were torpedoes, parts of the control room, and the remains of several Soviet sailors who were reportedly given a military burial at sea. But beyond these details, what the CIA truly discovered remains shrouded in secrecy. Were nuclear warheads retrieved? Was encrypted communication equipment recovered? Or did the CIA find something far more extraordinary? Official accounts remain vague, and speculation about the operation's true purpose and findings only deepens the mystery. Theories on the K-129's fate. As for the cause of the K-129's sinking, the theories are as perplexing as the submarine's disappearance itself. Some suggest mechanical failure, perhaps an accidental missile detonation or a critical structural defect. Others speculate that it could have been a collision with the USS Swordfish, implying a covert Cold War confrontation that both parties preferred to keep under wraps. Another theory involves sabotage, a rogue crew member attempting to defect with nuclear weapons, leading to disaster. But here's where the story takes a stranger turn. The loss of the K-129 was not an isolated incident. Just weeks earlier, both the INS Dakar and the French submarine Minerve had disappeared under similarly mysterious circumstances. Three advanced submarines from three different nations vanished without a trace. Could some unknown force have played a role in these disappearances? Whatever secrets the K-129 carried, they remain sealed within the wreckage that rests on the Pacific Ocean's floor, untouched and silent, as impenetrable as the mysteries surrounding the other vanished submarines of the Cold War. The mystery of the USS Scorpion. In 1968, we arrive at the story of the USS Scorpion. Among all the disappearances that year, the Scorpion's case is one of the most thoroughly documented and perhaps the most chilling. The Scorpion was a skipjack-class nuclear-powered submarine, one of the most cutting-edge vessels in the U.S. Navy. Sleek, swift, and deadly, she was designed with one primary mission: to hunt and eliminate enemy submarines during a time when tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union were teetering on the edge of war. Every mission carried the heavy burden of the Cold War, and the Scorpion's deployment was no different. In May 1968, the Scorpion was heading back to her home port in Norfolk, Virginia, after a month-long deployment in the Mediterranean. During that time, she had been shadowing Soviet naval operations, gathering intelligence, and conducting routine but high-stakes operations in the tense environment of the Cold War. On May 21, 1968, the Scorpion transmitted her last message. The crew reported their location and provided an estimated time of arrival in Norfolk. Everything seemed normal. The submarine was operating as expected, and her return was imminent. However, 5 days later, on May 26, 1968, the Scorpion failed to arrive. No communication, no distress signals, nothing. The U.S. Navy immediately launched an urgent search effort. Ships and aircraft scoured the vast Atlantic, deploying sonar buoys and searching every inch of the route the submarine had last reported. The last known position was on May 21st, and search teams focused their efforts on the open waters southwest of the Azores. However, the ocean is incomprehensibly vast, and finding even the smallest trace of a submarine at such depths was a nearly impossible task. As days turned into weeks, the hope of locating the Scorpion intact started to fade. For the families of the 99 crew members, the wait was unbearable, with each passing day a painful reminder of how little was known. Eventually, after weeks of relentless searching, sonar detected an anomaly deep beneath the ocean's surface. The wreck of the Scorpion was found 400 miles southwest of the Azores, lying over 3,000 meters below the water. The submarine had broken into two large sections, her hull twisted and shattered, with the stern nearly completely crushed. Evidence of the extreme pressure at such depths was evident. Debris from the interior was scattered across the ocean floor, indicating a sudden and catastrophic event. For the Navy, finding the Scorpion answered some questions, but not the ones they had hoped for. Instead of revealing the cause of the sinking, the condition of the wreck only raised more questions. The official investigation concluded that the Scorpion likely sank due to an internal torpedo explosion. According to this theory, one of her own torpedoes malfunctioned, detonating inside the submarine and triggering a chain reaction that quickly destroyed the vessel. While this explanation is plausible, it left room for doubt. How could such a catastrophic failure occur on one of the Navy's most advanced submarines? Other theories soon surfaced. Declassified U.S. Navy documents revealed that just months before the Scorpion's disappearance, American intelligence had intercepted Soviet communications indicating they were actively targeting an American submarine. Some believed the Scorpion may have been engaged in a deadly game of underwater cat and mouse with a Soviet submarine. Could she have been intercepted and attacked during a covert confrontation? If so, both countries would have had strong reasons to keep such an event secret, as it could have escalated Cold War tensions into full-scale conflict. Then there was the issue of the Scorpion's long history of technical problems. The submarine had experienced mechanical issues with her propulsion system, torpedo tubes, and even her electrical wiring during past deployments. Some theorists believe these persistent failures might have finally caught up to her, contributing to her destruction under the extreme pressures of the deep ocean. Whatever the cause, 99 sailors aboard the USS Scorpion perished instantly. The discovery of the wreck provided some closure, but not the answers the families so desperately sought. The haunting questions remain, and the Scorpion was not alone. Just 4 months later, 4 submarines from 4 different nations vanished without explanation. The INS Dakar, the Minerve, the K-129, and the USS Scorpion. Each disappearance was unique, each surrounded by its own set of theories and bits of evidence, but all were swallowed by the same unsettling silence. Was it all merely coincidence, a series of unrelated accidents? Or could there be a more sinister force at play, tying all these disappearances together? What do you think happened? Was it Cold War sabotage, deadly malfunctions, or something beyond our understanding? Share your theories in the comments below. I'll be reading every one. If you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, please give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Until next time, stay safe.